Hello, everyone. This is Chase Pounds. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing a paranormal documentary, a paranormal film called The Haunting of Patricia Johnson. Now, this is a movie I had previously seen before last year in October 2nd of last year. And it's just a documentary that kind of stuck, a movie that kind of kept stuck with me for a while. Stuck with me for a while. I felt like it may be good material to do a video on. So this is what I'm doing right now. And that year I was going through a lot of movies of my childhood that I had previously watched, mostly particularly two paranormal movies. One was The Haunted. I remember coming on TV. I remember it was kind of hard for me to find it. I eventually did find the name. I forgot the title, which the title was named. It was also based on a true story as well. And you had this movie I'm about to talk about right now called The Haunting of Patricia Johnson. Now, originally, The Haunting of Patricia Johnson is was a made-for-TV movie that aired on CBS around Tuesday of Halloween, which today is on the Tuesday, kind of marking the time it aired, but not on Halloween though. It aired on CBS, as I said, on Halloween. It went by variety of different titles based on the release locations it was released. Sometimes it went from The Haunting of Patricia Johnson, The Haunting of Patricia Johnson, to other titles such as Victim of the Haunt, by the titles named Victim of the Haunt, to Uninvited, The Uninvited, not to get confused with an old 1940s movie that actually I did a play of when I was in high school, but they also went by, according to Wikipedia, the street at the house on the other end of the street, but the movie was supposedly based on excuse me, it was supposedly based on true story of the Doretta Johnson family that Johnson's family experienced paranormal experiences in 1987 at a supposedly it was based on the book called the People in the Attic. That was the book name of the book. Though in my opinion, I'm not sure if when they made the TV movie that they alter events, names of people, and the locations, settings, and so forth, such as I'm trying to pull up the picture of the book. This is the book right here. I'm not sure they alter, as I said, alter events, details, names of people, and location. Because in the movie, the family is a young. They have a young son and an older 12-year-old girl. Well, and I think in the true story, it was an older son and a young daughter. I think the son was 17, the girl was maybe 8 or 9 years old, maybe. Then where it's set is the true story was said it was in Indiana in a supposed to be in a motel, or formerly a motel, but they rented the main house where all the hauntings occurred. But in the movie, it's set in an anonymous location. The movie doesn't reveal where it's set in. It's in like a typical kind of typical suburban setting of a house. Of a house. Of a house. Though I looked it up, this filming location of this movie was in Los Angeles, so it's pretty much setting a Los Angeles, California setting, not in the Midwest as the film is set. I mean, as the true story is setting in a motel, and events and details they depict in the movie aren't mentioned in the true story, such as don't match what was depicted in the movie to what occurred in the true story. So I don't know what exactly is supposed to be true or fact, or what exactly was based on the real incident. But technically, the story evolves around a family that has 2 children. Family of 2 children that move into a suburban house. Pretty much everything is fine and dandy, but as they, I guess, get settled into the house, they eventually start to notice that there are paranormal occurrences, unexplainable phenomenon that occurs. The wife doesn't think much about it at first. Something she thinks is a sign of their former child they had lost. I guess lost earlier, though the movie doesn't really, kind of vaguely talks about, but doesn't really touch upon it the way I remember it. But they lost a child early before they moved in the house, and they think it's a sign that I guess the child's watching over them, or showing that he's still around with the family, I guess. But that turns out not to be the case, as the haunting starts to become more menacing and personal, and I think directly starts to attach itself to the son, and tries to attack and harm the son. She runs into a psychic while running errands, saying that her child's gonna drown. She dismisses the psychic and thinks that she's crazy. But sure enough, events of that happen, as the son is almost drowned in the bathtub by the spirit, which the spirit was that resided in the location of where the house was built. It used to be a rural farmhouse, and the history was that the husband and father of that house had killed his son, and the wife shot him. So his spirit and the spirit of the little boy supposedly haunt the location, and it continues to target to the son, because he sees her son, Patricia's son, as his own, to make up for the son that he lost, I guess, in a sense. And no one believes. Patricia tries to warn her husband about all these strange events that occur in the house, but he deems her as being crazy, and she even goes to the doctor and tells her experience, and they dismiss her as her being crazy as well, and they take her into like a special facility for like a psych ward, and she's taken away from the family as the father is taking the children back to the house, that's the haunted house, still not believing in anything paranormal, but then starts to get the suspicious feeling that something is paranormally wrong, and he even goes as far as to dig up the graves on the site, dig up supposedly a gravesite that was built on the location of the house. And sure enough, there is a gravesite of all the people that formerly lived in the house. And I guess that changes his beliefs, and he realized that there is some paranormal goes on. There is something paranormal taking place. And the spirit lures the son down to the basement, trapping him in the basement, and it starts to flood. It starts to flood. Starts to flood, and the father tries to free him, but the door is locked, and the wife is able to escape the psych ward, and the psychic follows her to the house, and she comes in the house and tries to go into the basement and free her son from the spirit. She confronts the spirit, saying, "I'm not afraid of you anymore." And I guess that's enough for the spirit to leave, and the spirit goes away. And they move. Even though the spirit is gone, they still move. And and that's pretty much the end. That's pretty much the movie. It's kind of a typical haunted house movie, though. Personally, my thoughts on the movie is that as I said, I previously had seen this movie. I was seeing this movie as a kid. I think it came on Lifetime. I would specifically remember the ending. I didn't really see the very ending of it, but the basement scene where the mother goes down the flooded basement and tries to confront the spirit. That's like a glowing whirlpool, and like a glowing phase. And she confronts the spirit and confronts the spirit. That's the scene I remember. And this scene always did put me in mind of Poltergeist. The movie Poltergeist. And my mom, when she was watching in the kitchen, she said it was like a poltergeist that's haunting the family or something. That's what I understood of the movie. I did think it was kind of scary seeing the glowing face. And that's one thing I remember. And this was kind of a time where I was into paranormal. When I was in grade school, I was into paranormal movies and paranormal documentaries about ghosts and hauntings. And at that time I was watching haunting, ghostly encounters, histories, mysteries of documentary I reference a lot. So it kind of reflects the time I was watching a lot of paranormal shows. And this, I kind of forgot it for a while, but it just stood out to me again in recent years as I was rediscovering old movies of our childhood. And I rewatched it in October the 2nd. Now I think the movie now is because of my taste in movies, I find it kind of, I guess, kind of a low, as poor quality because it uses a lot of CGI. And this is when the late 90s people were starting to use a lot of CGI. A lot of CGI. Presenting the CGI. But but it's not a movie I would watch again because it's just certain scenes that really get to me, particularly the bathtub scene where the boy is being strangled in the bathtub and they playing sad music, and he's trying to get out, and he's struggling to get out, and the spirit keeps holding him down in the water. And I feel very sad and sorry for the child that he went through that. I imagine that must have been feeling very traumatizing experience to go through. And but some rest of it seems pretty predictable and kind of prophetic, and they use a lot of elements from other haunted house movies, including as I said, the movie Poltergeist. As I read in the article, there is a lot of references to article. People agree that there's a lot of references to Poltergeist, and that's what I thought when I watched it as a kid. It reminded me of the movie Poltergeist, which I just think I saw around that same year when I was in third grade. I watched Poltergeist for the first time, and they I there aren't too many reviews on this movie. Though there was one girl who did a little YouTube channel, or lady. I mean, there's one lady did a YouTube channel on the TV movie, and she says pretty much like a Lifetime knockoff, a campy Lifetime movie of Poltergeist, and that's pretty much the way I looked at it. I typed in my comments about my recollections about the movie in the movie I saw when I was 9 years old, and talk about what I think about the movie now. Again, as I said, I felt sad for the boy, and I didn't like the special effects. I felt they were pretty cheesy special effects. And that's all I have to say about this movie. Feel free to watch it if you want to. The Haunting of Patricia Johnson. I'm pretty sure it's available on Tubi, of course, YouTube. On YouTube, it goes by several different names: Victim of the Haunt or The Haunting of Patricia Johnson. And that's all I got to say about this movie. That was another video by Chase Pounds. Stay tuned for my next video. Hello everyone, this is Chase Pounds. Now I just wanted to I realized that my pictures didn't come out the way they did when I was doing my video, but this is the book of People in the Attic, and this is supposedly became inspiration for the house of came inspiration for the paranormal special, The Haunting of Patricia Johnson. But like I said, it changes names of people and events and details. But this is the book version right here, right here. And as I said before, the movie had different titles. Went through different titles. And I've never known that many movies like this to go by different variety of titles like this. They also went by the name Victim of the Haunt. This is the opening of the title of Victim of the Haunt. And this is the other cover title. I also forgot to mention the cast. The two notable stars I'm familiar with is Sharon Lawrence. Who's a veteran TV. She was in another movie I just recently watched the other month called Aftershock, Earthquake in New York. I remember watching that, renting that from Blockbuster, and we once still had one. And that came out, Aftershock came out for about 4 years after she did this role in The Haunting of Patricia, in The Victim of the Haunt, or Haunting Patricia Johnson, which way which title you like to go by. Then the husband was played by Beau Bridges, which I'm not familiar with him, but I just recently heard the name somewhere. I think it was off a commercial. Then you had Shirley Knight, who played the medium, who I mostly know her from the sequel Beyond the Poseidon Adventure. Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, she played a wife she plays a wife of a author, a blind author, who that's the wrong picture, I'm sure. Who plays sorry, she plays a she was like a the wife of an author, and she breaks her she's in the cast, she breaks her arm and she falls off the ladder. That's mostly what I know her from, is the Beyond the Poseidon Adventure. But she plays the role as the medium in the Victim of the Haunt, or Haunting Patricia Johnson movie. And I almost didn't really spot her or recognize her because she had a wig on. And she looked different because she had blonde hair. In this movie, she had dark hair. But that's all I had to say about the things I left out about the movie that I have to say. Again, there's another video by Chase Pounds. Stay tuned for my next video.